Hey, today let's talk about how product management is going to change over the next few years. My name is Juan. If you don't know me, I have been a product leader since 2017. I have been working in tech companies for over 20 years. And I have seen lots of changes in the world of product management since I started in this area in 2010. And I can see that the changes are stacking relatively fast nowadays. Let's go through what I think are the 5 changes that are going to come relatively soon to product management over the next years. First of all is hyper-specialization of product management. You can already see this now. You can see that they are recruiting for AI product managers, growth product managers, data product managers, different roles that are very highly specialized on just one aspect of product management. This is something that is happening more and more, which is kind of normal since product management has been typically and traditionally a very generalist role in most of the companies. So different type of product managers that will have different type of specializations like technical, data, AI, whatnot, is going to be something that is going to come more and more. And I'm pretty sure that you already have seen these ones in different job ads. And I see that there's going to be more demand also for full stack product managers. So product managers that can really manage the technical side, but they can also manage the business side, the commercial, the go-to-market side. These are typically going to be very senior roles and very roles that are going to be more closer to a senior product manager, even a principal product manager, are going to be probably very highly valuable given that they have a very wide range of experience. The second trend that I think that is going to come more and more, and to be honest, sometimes I wonder if it's ever going to come, but I think that it has to come at some point, is the shift from output. What are the features, the number of features that you're shipping or shipping features constantly, to really shipping outcomes, really changing the business, really changing the value that is being delivered to the customers. This is something that it should become an industry standard at some point. We have been thinking that this should be the industry standard for a while, but realistically it's not yet there. Yes, we have had the adoption of more and more of KPIs, OKRs, and those are going in that direction. And I think that this is something that over time is going to be more similar to other roles that are in the other companies that are measured by the business impact that they create. Whereas at this point, product management in not many companies is really measured by the business impact that they are creating. The third trend that I think that is going to come is that potentially there's going to be different roles. I talked earlier about hyper-specialization, and that was more in the realm of the activities that they are doing right now. But I see that there's going to be more like a strategic product manager and the growth of commercial product managers going into this direction. Something that it's somebody that is focusing much more on the strategic side of product management, understanding which industries a product should go, understanding what are the commercial decisions that are going to be done, what is product strategy, or how to define that product strategy for defining the success of the product. I've seen this rarely as commercial product managers. In some companies I work with, there have been these roles. They are not very common in most of the companies. And in most of the companies, product managers are very, very, very heavily focused on execution. What happens with these people is that they are going to work closer to executive teams, leadership teams, CEO, even CPOs. Definitely much closer to go-to-market teams, marketing, sales teams, services, support, to understand better how to formulate a strategy and try to help that alignment across different teams. And of course, they're going to be responsible for revenue of the products that they're managing. And ideally, of course, with that responsibility or higher responsibility, they're going to potentially be paid more or way more than a regular product manager. The fourth one is probably the one that all of you are expecting, is AI, automating the work of product managers. Realistically, automating all the work of product managers probably is going to take quite a while, but in some years you can imagine that 50% potentially of the work could be potentially automated. So what this could mean, of course, we don't know until we get there, but I think that there are certain things where AI is going to help a lot the work of product managers, and work that at this point is generally very slow. And, everybody's worried and about losing their jobs, but in the end, it's not about losing your job. It's about how you can leverage these opportunities, these advantages that AI is giving you to really do your work or better work for your company. But what could be automated by AI? So, for example, the production of PRDs, the product requirement definition, doing a competitor analysis, doing user research summaries, roadmap drafts, even go-to-market planning drafts out of what is in the roadmap based on the outcomes. Writing also the OKR drafts. So not necessarily doing all the job, but doing the first drafts, doing the first versions, where then the product managers should use their experience, their knowledge, their skill set to really improve on that. And maybe even given the framework and the details of what is the information needed. A ton of work from product managers at this point goes to go through customer requests. It takes a long time to do that. And by the way, most of them are missing because most of the people don't have the time to go through all of them. They forget that there were some email, some PowerPoints shared at some point, some Excel, whatever you have in your project management tool. Information is scattered, it's all over the place, which makes it very difficult to gather those requirements and to funnel them into one place. AI can start helping definitely with this, and over time, in like 3 or 5 years, potentially it can do a much better work of understanding that, hey, this is all the insights that we have been getting recently. These are the areas that are most affected. These are the ones that potentially align with different strategies and so on. So if you are a PM that you are excelling basically at project management and documentation, then you are having a problem. If you are a PM that it's bringing value, that is creating impact, that is building alignment across different teams and being strategic, this AI is going to help you massively to do your job. So it's a great opportunity for people like you. And if you're to concentrate on the execution part, start thinking how you can be definitely more business driven. How can you be what is your area of expertise that makes you different from other product managers, and that you are not just managing a backlog and managing requests and writing feature descriptions, and you think that that's only your job. That's not your job. Your job is basically create as much value as possible for the customers, so that creates a business impact for your company. So the real value for you is going to be in things like problem framing, decision quality, storytelling, because it's not easy to communicate. Even for our AI, they can be very verbose. I mean, they might be getting in the future, but might be getting better in the future. But I'm pretty sure that how they're going to be trained in the beginning, they're going to be pretty much like a PM, and it's going to be very technical in some cases and very output driven and not necessarily story driven. And then things like prioritizing under uncertainty. AI looks like certainty data, back or historical data when there's not such data. It's difficult to make predictions. It's of course difficult for a PM as well. But if you're good at that, you're definitely bringing real value to the company. So AI is not going to replace PMs. It's actually potentially going to help your job and make your job much faster. It's going to replace PMs who are just basically focusing on managing a backlog. And the fifth one is going to be the rise of product operations. So think about your regular product manager nowadays. Product managers, as it has been said many times, they're working more as a project manager than they are working as a product manager. They're just managing a backlog. They are managing the scope of a project. They are not trying to create value for a company. They don't even, in many cases, understand what is the role of what they had to do. Product operations, when establishing a company, you can think about it similarly to what DevOps has been. It has established the ways of working for software engineers to make sure that the work is reliable and that it's working as or following a certain process. And you want the same for product operations. You want the same for product management, and you do that with product operations. But the idea with product operations is that you are able to define those workflows, to define those systems, create those templates that people can then use and then can create really those journeys that, for example, a discovery has to go through, or a prioritization has to go through. These things are rarely documented, they are rarely even understood by the teams, and different product managers are going to do then completely different. Creating a product operation system in companies, whether it has a product operations team or not, ideally you have it, but even the tools can start creating this to a certain level. Like AI, I said earlier that AI potentially is going to automate half of the work of a product manager. This is part of the product operations system that you want to build in a company. And what you don't want to do is just do one thing. You want to build a system that it has a logical flow that is going to help you to make sure that you are building products that are really solving problems that you have discovered in the market, that you have validated with certain potential customers, that you have validated the solutions, that you build prototypes, mock-ups, that you execute and work together with customers while you are building them, that you test them with your audience, and that you release them, promote them. Well, basically all the things that you had to do in the whole product development process basically is going to be then taken care by product operations. And I think that this is one of the areas that is going to grow a lot. There's teams already in certain companies that are taking care of product operations. Most of the companies, I would say at this point, don't have product operations. They don't have any kind of documentation of how they're doing the job. And this is a big problem for them. Why? Because new people come in the company, existing people are in the company, and they do things differently. And there's no way for them to know what is the best practices. And this is not to reduce innovation. The idea is that you have a baseline that you can, it's like training. You do training so you have a baseline. And on top of that one, you can do your innovations. Once you start being comfortable with the training, you know that in the back of your mind, you know what you have to do discovery. You know what you had to do prioritization. You know what you had to do strategic work. If you have all this in the back of your mind, then you can really rely on those habits that you have built and innovate on top of them. If everybody's doing everything differently and every single process is always different, basically what you have is a little bit of a chaos. And chaos sometimes is going to result in very good things, and in most of the cases is going to result in not so good things. If you're interested in setting up a product operations for your teams at your company, go check out my program in the description. So what are the trends that you think are going to come to product management in the near future? Let's say 3 to 5 years. I'm pretty sure I missed some of the ideas that you might have. Please go and share them in the comments below. See you in the next one.